in cost of living, soaring cost of living. And we got an update yesterday, I think it was on the Commonwealth, if I remember rightly. I mean, the staggering interest rate increases and how people are just hoping they're going to be able to get through to the end of next year when there may be a slight reduction. Now, what are people doing? They're finding ways to save money. They're cutting corners everywhere, and we're all most of us, probably 90% of us, are having to do that. How on earth do we find ways to reduce spending? Well, I suppose some people look at the more expensive things and say, oh, no, we'll cut this and we'll cut that. And some people may be considering reducing their spend on home insurance, for that matter, and heading into a cyclone season soon. That might not be a wise move. I just put a call through to Bradley Heath, Managing Director of Assure Insurance. Brad, good morning.
Good morning, John.
It's an issue, isn't it? People thinking, where the hell can I find some savings? Because I'm really not making ends meet. And they were thinking, oh, you know, when I first bought this house, the insurance was cheaper all those years ago, and now it's getting a bit more expensive. They could be tempted to chop the insurance.
But that's right, John. It's a difficult area for people. You know, we acknowledge at Sure Insurance how difficult it is for people out there. It's, you know, we're all seeing whether it be our electricity bills, our mortgage. I mean, you know, pretty much everyone's got a mortgage and everyone pays electricity. So we're all seeing it. What we want to say to people is don't cut corners on your insurance. Now, you know, maybe people would think that's a normal thing for an insurance company to say, but there's plenty of things we can all sort of cut back on. But one of the things we don't think anyone should cut back on is their insurance. Now, that means making sure you've got the right sum insured. It means making sure you've got both your building and your contents insured. We'd encourage people to review their sums insured every year because we might add a pergola, or we might add a shed, or air conditioning, or we buy more contents, or there's all sorts of things we want people to make sure that they've got the right sum insured, because the simple message out of that is that it is not a flat rate. So the first dollar you insure for is not charged at the dollar at the top end of your sum insured. So it does get cheaper when you increase your sum insured at the top end. So we'd ask people to have a look at that.
Can I just ask you for an update? I know we've touched on it from time to time, but not for a while. People who want to or are prepared to strengthen their home, to add a level of resilience, if you like, as we're heading into a cyclone season. Can you give us an update on that matter?
For sure, John. There's lots of things that we recognise at Sure that will get you a discount on your policy. So there's things like simple things like cyclone shutters, or getting your roller door strengthened to current standards, or even changing your roof to a current spec. All of those things give you discounts in different ways on the policy. So if you're increasing the strength of your roof, for example, then you get a discount off the cyclone and storm part of your policy. So that's what we'd encourage people to do is give us a ring, even at renewal. I mean, we encourage people to give us a ring at renewal, and we can work through it with them to make sure they're getting all the discounts they can. And it's surprising, things have changed in the interim between when they took the policy out and now. So there's always an opportunity, and we can also, you know, we can also help people work through even a higher excess. So how much would they save if they had a higher excess? And that could be something they may or may not be interested in, or even go to pay by the month. Because for us, pay by the month, we don't charge any extra. It's the same price over 12 months, whether you pay up front or whether you pay over a month-by-month basis. We'd encourage people to have a look at that. There's plenty of ways we can help.
Actually, I'll ask you on the spot, what are people doing, what the majority of people doing? They're paying monthly or annually?
Around about 3/4 of our customers pay by the month. Many people pay annually because they just want to get it done and work on that. But it's up to each person individually. Different people at different stages of their life. You know, when they can afford more up front and just get it done and move on, or pay by the month. But the important thing is some insurers charge a fairly hefty fee on pay by the month. We don't. Because we know that people are struggling, and people may want to go down that path. So it's a very easy way of spreading the load over 12 months.
I bet the monthly payments go from 3/4 to closer to full tilt, because everyone's struggling for $1. They just come, and most people, let's be honest about this, most people, you just pointed out the sort of bills they've already got, and they're going through the roof, and we're not seeing wages keeping up with these incredible costs of living.
No, we're not, and it's across the board. I mean, whether it's school fees or whether it's groceries, it's anything else. We all of us in Queensland today know that prices of everything is going up. There's very little I think we can point to that's going down, and we understand that, and that's one of the reasons Sure was created in the first place, to try and get people a better deal. And that's what we'd encourage people to do is even ring us for a quote. Just give us a ring. If you save money, you've saved money. If you haven't, you haven't. But in most cases, and on average, we're still saving people around about, on average, $1,600, which is per annum, and that's more than $100 a month. And at the moment, as we all know, every little bit counts. So there's an option for people. Ring up our people. They deal with one product. They can talk people through. They can make the process a lot easier than you'd imagine.
Just before you go, the indexed sum, the annual indexed sum, how does that work?
We automatically increase people's sums insured on building and contents. At the moment, it's around about 5% that we increase. It has been higher in the past because we know the cost of buildings going up. Having said that, we'd encourage people every year to review their own sum insured to make sure not only is it not too low, but to make sure it's not too high as well. There's no point buying insurance that you don't need. But we'd encourage people, we have an online calculator that's on our website that you can access, and it is a little bit of a process to go through. But when you start looking at all the bits and pieces in your house, whether it be pathways or fences or pools or sheds, you suddenly start realising how much value you've got.
Yeah.
And bear in mind, the sum insured is for replacement value. We just don't give people the value of what they had. It's full replacement value. So there's a few components.
Isn't that interesting? Very good points today, Brad. Always good to talk to you. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
That's Bradley Heath, Managing Director, Sure Insurance. Sure-insurance.com.au. Sure Insurance, a program sponsor. It's now 21 past 10.